Bassmobile, and you guys will just travel all over the country and go to a bunch of cool events. And so we applied for it, ended up getting it, and we were like, what are we getting ourselves into?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Hook One Pod. Hey, we're here at Hook One Bait and Tackle. I'm in the studio, Louie's on the road, and we've got another guest for you this week. We've got our good friend Benny. I met Benny over in Minnesota at a mutual friend's wedding. He kind of took me in since I didn't know anyone else over there. And Benny's done a lot of really fun things in this industry. So, Benny, what's going on, brother? How are you?
What's going on, fellas? I missed
Not
you
too-
guys. I haven't seen you guys for a little while.
Dude, we got to see each other at the Elite Series, but it was just way too busy.
Yeah.
We're gonna get into it, what you got going on with what you do for a profession. But I mean, dude, you guys are just so busy over there, making Yamaha look good and making that whole thing run right. So, Louie, what are you doing?
I'm going to my deer property.
That sucks. You don't have a boat attached to the truck?
No, not today.
Come on,
Hopefully
bro.
later.
Dude, once it's hunting season, man, you got to focus on that stuff, right?
Unless you're like me, dude, you just don't let hunting season even be a thing.
You gotta get
Come
dialed
on,
in.
Pete. Come on, brother.
Dude, when you put as much money into everything, me and Louie talk about all the time, dude, that's like the curse being over here is we can fish for everything. Everything kind of swims out front.
That's true.
So it's like, dude, I got to have everything. You got to have the musky rods and musky reels. Those aren't cheap. You got to have all your salmon stuff, lead core, flashers, flies, all that stuff for the 4 times a year that I fish them.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, I don't know. I can't keep up. Louie, I don't know. He's getting paid too well over here, I guess. He can do it all.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I guess.
Opening day, and then it's gonna be like 80 degrees for a week. So
Yeah, stay away from that.
Isn't that nuts?
It's not gonna be very fun.
It's nuts, man. We just can't catch a break. You said you're dealing with the same stuff over there, though, Benny, in Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Or you're in North Dakota now, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm hunting in Minnesota, so.
Okay, right on the border.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, let's get into this thing. So why don't you tell people a little bit who you are, where you started, where you're from, and then kind of where you're at now, and then we're gonna get into what kind of got you into the fishing industry and what part of the industry you're in.
Yeah, so I'm Benny Schumann, and I grew up and live in Minnesota. I guess it's Fargo, North Dakota right now, but I do all my stuff in Minnesota. I grew up just kind of being an outdoorsman and got into the social media world. I started up a page called Ben Outdoors, as Pete and Louie, you both know. But I started that, and that actually led me to starting my first job. It's called the Bassmobile. I was working for a company called Catch Co. Went on a tour with them for about a year and a half, and then switched over from that to what I'm doing now with Dynamic Sponsorships, and that's just another brand marketing company. So, but yeah.
Yeah, man, you and I can't leave our buddy Tyler out. Tyler was also at that wedding. Tyler Brick, dude, he is super cool. I actually want to get him on here too because he's with Boat Setter. He's doing something totally different in this industry that I think is super cool. I think that's going to be the future of where a lot of this like not necessarily guiding, but like the chartering and stuff is going to go. So we're going to talk to Tyler a little bit, and then we're also going to get into the Bass Bus and that adventure that that you and Tyler got to go on there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But shit.
What?
I lost where I was at.
What the Pete?
Dude, I have so many questions.
What the?
I have so many questions. Let's start out with, we're going to go back to Ben Outdoors, okay?
Okay.
So you and Tyler were like, you guys were the first kind of ones doing the influencer type things that I really met that were just like, yo, we're going for it. And you guys produced really good media. How did you get into the media sense? Uh-oh, there he is. He's back. How did you get into the media? How did you get into that, I guess? What got you into it? Because over here, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but like over here, me and Louie talk about it, but I feel like we're like kind of set back in the sense like when Louie and I are watching things, especially in the walleye world, when we're watching a lot of this stuff, it's the guys over in Minnesota, like Target Walleye, those guys are doing an unbelievable job. And like over in Green Bay, I just feel like they're a little bit paced ahead. So like who or what got you into wanting to do the influencer social media route?
Dude, I guess like so when I was in high school, it kind of like all started up, and I know that Tyler was already like doing some stuff for like clam and stuff, ice fishing and everything, and I was like, dang, that's pretty cool. I love fishing, and I would love to do hunting and stuff someday, which I wasn't really into it when I was in high school. But then like Tyler was posting stuff for clam and doing some sponsorship stuff, and I was like, dang, that's awesome. And so I started up that Ben Outdoors account,
Yep.
and it's obviously Ben Outdoors because my name is Ben. And
It's a great name.
hey, thank you.
And you've been outdoors,
Very
That's right.
creative.
That's
right?
right.
So did you have this avenue in high school? So like I didn't even have the opportunity. High school fishing wasn't even a thing when my old ass was in high school. Louis had the opportunity, and so when I talked to Louis about it, I was like pretty surprised. Was that an option for you guys over there, or was it a little
It
different?
it was, but it was pretty new, so I never really got into it. I didn't have a boat or anything. Like I had a couple buddies like Tyler and my buddy Jacob Vidmar did it. I wish I would have done it, but at the same time, it's just like it all worked out. So
Well, dude, you guys got to do a really not you guys. You had a really cool opportunity that you did with Under Armour, and you went with
yeah,
Maggie Joe, right?
yep, yep,
What was that?
yeah.
What was doing something like that? Like, what kind of went into that? We'll put the
Oh, dude.
for anyone that wants to know what we're talking about. The link will be down below in the bio. Just go in there and check it out. It was a really cool segment. That was it. Ketchco
No, that was
or
like
Under Armour?
presented by
Duh,
Under Armour. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my buddy Sam Moore, you guys know who he is. He filmed the Tour Gold or
dude.
whatever it is.
His work
Him
is
and Logan did.
unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, they're fantastic. But basically, like when I was in high school, I think I was like a senior. Tyler and I were, and we ended up connecting with Sam Moore because we found out like he lived like 30 minutes away from us. So we were like, oh, dude, let's hit this dude up. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize you guys lived that close to me as well. So then we ended up getting out ice fishing with him, and since that, like we've been good buddies, and he's hooked us up with a bunch of fun shoots to do with some of the great clients he has. And so, yeah, that Under Armour event, dude, oh man, that was so fun.
It was like a camping event. And they
Yeah,
set challenges for you guys, and it was like a little
yeah,
competition, dude. It was super cool to
yeah.
see that. It's
And
cool
we
when you
didn't,
get to meet up with guys in the industry like that.
oh, absolutely. And
Bounce ideas off them.
yeah, and we didn't even really like know what was going on. Like, Sam's like, okay, this is what's going on. Like, Under Armour's sponsoring it. You're getting some Old Town kayaks. Your Humminbirds are going to be out there. And they're like, good luck. Like, we did a challenge, and it was a ton of fun.
Was it brutal? Was fishing tough? Because you're in a.
Oh,
It's not
yeah,
like
dude.
you can't break down water in a freaking kayak, dude.
Dude, fishing was tough, and so basically, like, if you go and watch the challenges, I was like, I'm just gonna cover water as much as I can. I was basically trolling the whole time.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And of course, when we go out, like, and the one night we're like, let's just do some fun fishing. We're not gonna film, and we caught a ton of fish, of course.
no shit.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
dude, Maggie's a stick too. I follow her on
Oh
social
yeah,
media. She puts a beating on them boys in the
yeah.
bass derbies and stuff like that. And she's built her
She
own
really
brand.
does.
Let's talk a little bit about the bass bus.
Yeah.
What so Ketchco put on the bass bus. It was a 20-something foot long, big
It's 40,
ass.
man.
It was 40 feet.
Yeah, yeah,
So you guys were dragging a 40-foot bass from
yeah.
spot to spot, going to state fairs and events. Why don't you dig in a little bit to the bass bus and what you were doing with Ketchco?
Yeah, so Tyler and I, we ended up getting this job, and we were like, holy crap. And we were both working at the same company before that, doing irrigation for like 5 years. And we ended up with this opportunity just through social media. Like we knew the marketing guy for Ketchco, and he's like, hey, we're coming out with this position. It's called the Bassmobile. And you guys will just travel all over the country and go to a bunch of cool events. And so we applied for it, ended up getting it, and we were like, what are we getting ourselves into?
Dude.
And
So how old were you guys when you started? How old?
I think 20, like 21-ish, 22.
22.
Yeah, so
And you're in this bus
yeah, we're in
going to
this
some of
bus.
the craziest.
Yeah, and like our first stop, well, like we had to fly to Chicago to get the truck, and then we drove from Chicago to Alabama to get the bass, the trailer, the camper we were going to be living in. So we
Right.
went and picked that up, and then basically from there, like our whole tour started. We went to like 40 different states, just all over the place. It was so much fun.
And what kind of stops did you make? Like I know you guys stopped at state fairs, you stopped at some
Yeah,
tournaments, right? Like
yeah, we
what was the goal? Just to get the name out as
yeah,
much as possible?
yeah. Get Catchco out there, a mystery tackle box mainly, the subscription box that they do,
Yep.
and yeah, just provide a fun experience for people that are coming to the booth.
We tried so hard to get that Bassmobile like up to
Dude,
St.
I
Clair.
know,
And I was like,
I
if it gets
know.
to St. Clair, we're putting it in the parking lot out here.
Yes.
And like it's just like you said it, dude, 40 states, so
Oh,
many
dude.
events to go to. And then the other thing is it's a 40-foot bus.
Yep.
So it's like, or a 40-foot camper. It's like,
Oh, dude, it was a blast, and like we'd just be rolling down the highway. It didn't matter what state we were in, but people would be like leaning out of their cars and stuff, taking pictures and videos, and I mean we got to experience so many cool things. Like I don't know if you know who Billy Strings is, but we went to a
oh
Billy
yeah,
Strings concert with it, and we were inside the venue, got to meet Billy and his band and everything. Dude, such a cool experience. That was
dude.
out in Colorado, and yeah, it was a blast.
And just two young guys, but like your setup was legit. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
not like you
yeah,
guys were just driving the camper around and parking it like, hey, look at this thing. I mean, you
yeah,
guys had product out on the floor. You guys had all the games. Like I know you had like the flipping games,
yeah,
basically like cornhole but flipping and stuff. And so like what went
yeah.
into kind of setting up that trailer
Yeah, that was
or
another
that?
cool thing. I mean, like obviously, like at the beginning, like we were set, like we had everything ready. Like we had a casting game for kids. We had like cornhole. People could come and play that. Like drawing games for even younger kids. But I mean, every single show we would just get there and set everything up. Normally every single day, because if it stormed and stuff, we wanted to put everything away. But dude, the coolest thing about that was probably the fact, like when we would go every once in a while, we'd go to like a school, and our first our first event on our second tour with the Bassmobile, we show
Mm-hmm.
up to the school and we're thinking like, oh, we'll probably have like 150 kids uh, throughout the day. Like it'll be quite a few kids, but it'll be a great time teaching all these kids how to cast. And then the gym teacher comes in and he's like, oh yeah, you guys will have about 600 kids today. And we're like, what? Like we
And it's
were,
just the two of you,
oh yeah, and we were not told this, and like every
come
single
on.
class was like 80 kids, dude. It was insane.
And they loved it.
Oh, they loved it. Like we put hula hoops in this gym, and the kids would cast and try to land it in the hula hoop. And when the kids did make it, dude, the whole class just went wild. It was so fun.
Oh, dude, that is so sick.
But yeah, just
I didn't
just
realize
being
you
able
guys
to
were
teach.
doing that.
Yeah,
Like that
we
part
didn't
of it.
we didn't do that super often, but like when we went to schools and stuff like that, like dude, it was so rewarding and just fun to see like kids casting for the first time.
Dude, Louis and I talk about that all the time, but like getting kids involved and like getting them in the sport is so important and like
Oh, absolutely.
growing our sport. Like I think the Guggen Squad did a really good job. I listened to a John B podcast recently, and like the way that he grew the sport to kids, like dude, not everything needs to be like tournament dialed in, like super
Yeah,
serious stuff. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Louis, have you learned that like being with the bait shop? It's how many like people are just it's just fun.
It
You know what I mean? Like we look at it differently.
it's 10 times more rewarding when you take a kid out or take a kid on the dock and they finally like figure out the concept of fishing, and then they actually catch one. Like the smile on their face is unbelievable, and then they're hooked for life. Like they never turn back.
Well, dude,
Yeah.
even now that you bring that up, like that makes me think of like Frank's foundation and stuff and how you guys helped out with that, dude. Like tell me a little bit about that. That looks so fun and awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's actually funny you said that because I was gonna say that's the whole reason like
Yeah.
Louis can vouch for it. I've been lucky enough, like I've been a part of a few like the kids events like here in Marine City and stuff that I've got to do. But Louis is a little bit younger, so like this is kind of like his first introduction to it. So what Benny's referring to, you guys out there that don't know, our mutual friend is Frank Ragnow. He's center for the Lions, but he has an awesome foundation. He's been talking to me about that charity since 2018. Like
So
when we first
awesome.
met, he's like, I want to start a charity. I want to do this, but obviously rookie contract. You don't know if you're going to stay, if you're going to go. Well, thank God, dude, the Lions locked him up and he's here where he can do this charity because it's super sick. His story is so sad. With what's happened to him and his family and what they've gone through. Louie and I have been so fortunate and blessed to be able to do like what we've been able to do, and we haven't had to deal with necessarily that. Obviously, everyone has their own stuff, right? But going through a loss like that, so his charity helps out kids that are going through horrible loss. Like at the last event we did last week, there's a 3-year-old in hospice.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, that's so brutal. But the look on his face, because when you would see the seagulls up in the sky, dude, the look on his face would lighten up. And like that, it's so hard to explain to some people because some people might not even understand it. But like that is worth more than what money could pay you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's obviously on a higher scale because you're dealing with kids who are grieving or kids that have gone through a loss or sickness. But it's like, dude, when you can get out there with the kids, we want to start doing that more here at the shop. But it's hard to find volunteers and to get the time and the tackle to do it. It's hard. But when those kids like actually catch on and they love it, it's so rewarding, dude.
Oh, definitely. Dude,
was it in a small town? Was it in a small town where you went to there, or was it a bigger city?
It was in a smaller town. Honestly, I can't even remember. I think it was somewhere in, I feel like we were in Tennessee somewhere.
Yeah. So you might be able to vouch with me on this, but what do you got going on, Louie?
Dude, I don't know.
All right, we're back. You're good. You're good. We're back. But Benny, you might be able to vouch with me on this. In big cities have their problems too, but like there's so many issues in small towns where if kids don't have something to do, they can really get caught up into some bad shit.
Yeah.
And so it's like fishing is that out. Like when I fell in love with fishing, it was right when I came home from college. I fell in love with fishing and I was going out every single day, and I didn't necessarily have the time to go to the bar or to go to the parties or to get into that shit because I had to get up at 5:30, 6 a.m. to catch that walleye bite. And like, I'm not BSing about that. Like fishing, I think, and just being in the outdoors in general is a way to get away from a lot of that trouble. Did you kind of see that at that school?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, definitely. And like, obviously, like these are like super young kids, but if you start out at a young age, like, I mean, not going to say video games and stuff are bad for you, but
when you're out there with when you're out there with live scope, you're kind of doing it.
Yeah, that's a hot topic in the fishing industry right now.
Real hot topic in your industry specifically, and that's kind of what I want to get into now. So you guys transitioned from the Bassmobile, but you were doing like that show style on the road, setting up the bus, doing all that. Now you're working with, you said, Dynamic Industries?
Yep. Dynamic
sponsorships, and specifically with a couple groups. But what I saw you doing was you were at the Elite Series working with Yamaha in their booth, setting up all these motors, the big trailer, the big flags, like all the things that people see on like social media and stuff of those events. You know, that was you guys this year.
Yep.
What has that job been like compared to the Bassmobile? It's got to be a lot different.
Oh, definitely. It's a lot different. Like, just going to the shows and stuff that we do, and like at these shows, I'm moving motors, like big motors, putting those on display. Like, we're dealing with a lot more money, a lot more. It's just more professional, in my opinion.
And that's the thing. So like, we saw you at the Elite Series event, and that's what I thought you did. I thought you followed around the Elite Series to these events and like set up. Dude, it's way more than that. You guys were in Atlantic City for the Billfish tournaments. I mean, you guys obviously were at the Classic. That's part of the Elite Series. But, like, you guys do a bunch of the ocean events, too, which is your 425s and your 450s and the serious, all your 300s, the serious stuff. Yeah. What's that like, going from freshwater to saltwater and whatnot?
It's definitely, like, a different lifestyle. Like, literally, like, fishing freshwater and then going fishing saltwater. I mean, you got two different, just completely different clientele. So I mean, you're showing up to these bass events where like everybody's like, oh, I want a bass boat with this 250 on it, whereas you show up to a saltwater show and this guy's walking up to you and going, hey, I want 4 450s. It's just a lot different, dude. It's crazy how the markets are. Whoa. It's crazy it's crazy how the markets are for that.
Dude, I'm telling you, it was mind-boggling when we sat down and we talked. We were fortunate enough, we just didn't get to fish a lot. We spent a lot of time together.
Yeah.
And just talked about that. We talked about that with Pat in our last podcast too, but I love sitting down with guys and talking about like the business side of this industry, because I do, like, as much as I love fishing, I love business.
Yeah.
And with Yamaha, you've probably been a lot more of that corporate, a lot of those handshaking, looking guys in the eyes, all that sort of fun stuff. So it's different on that tone too, like you said, more professional, more.
Yeah, 100%. Because I mean, like Ketchko, like essentially we could almost do like whatever we wanted to do in the Bassmobile. Like we were just trucking along. Like our boss hardly ever had to like really worry about us, because she knew we were doing our job and everything. And it was just so different, because like at these Yamaha shows, like obviously we have Yamaha corporate there, like my boss Chip, he's at a lot of them as well. But I mean, yeah, it's just a lot different.
But it's fun. It's gotta be. It's gotta be exhausting, especially because you gotta be away from the family and stuff like that. And like that's a lot of, like, so many people in our industry think like or outside of our industry are like, oh man, it must be so fun to do that job. You get to travel, even myself included. Like, Benny, you must be having so much fun, dude, traveling everywhere, meeting all these guys. You get to talk with Elite Series pros, except you're talking to them after they got cut, so that's not fun. You get to meet all these people and go to these events, and it's like, in the same token, but I'm not home. I'm not really getting to do what we get to do. I'm not getting to see, you don't get to see your girl and do all that sort of stuff. So like that side of it that's got to be tough.
Oh, dude, definitely. I absolutely love my job, and that's the main downfall, is just being away from Brindley and my family, not being able to fish and hunt at home. I mean, kind of biased, or like, I don't think I'm that biased, but I think fishing up here, like in the northern parts, is like the best fishing you can get. But I mean,
I agree. I agree,
but,
man. But that's the beauty of fishing. Everybody thinks differently, because you could think that, and some guy thinks his inland lake in the middle of Kentucky's the best spot.
Yeah,
it's so sick.
Exactly.
And you're gonna see, you know what I mean? You still see everybody at those events. That's, like I said, that's been the most eye-opening thing here at the bait shop, has been like talking to guys about how they fish and what they do, and like it's just so different. And then you get these guys from, like I just said, but you get these guys from Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Pennsylvania, coming up here, and they're like, this is how we fish, and it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
That's
crazy.
Part for us, like after an Elite Series event, like we'll get guys up here throwing like rage craws in the middle of a 40-foot trench in the middle of Lake St. Clair, and they're like, why aren't the smallmouth biting? And I'm like, well, it ain't Kentucky.
That's not what they bite here.
Yeah.
It is crazy. I mean, it is crazy. And what the heck, man? They're not even coming back. I thought we were gonna get to see you again next year.
Bro,
only two northern events.
I honestly can't even remember what the schedule is, but I know we'll be back in like New York and stuff.
I don't care. I didn't look at it. You'll be in New York twice, and whatever, man. There's so many good fisheries up here.
Boombas, dude.
Oh yeah, yes we do. Boombas are great.
Well, we already talked about in the spring, and I talked to Tyler about it too, but we will get you guys up here in the spring. We're going to host you here at Hook One, dude. We got the setup, and we're going to get you out on some insane walleye fishing. We'll probably go down to Detroit and show you that spectacle too, where you can walk from boat to boat, dude. It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, what we need to do is you guys need to come over and ice fish over here.
Dude, okay, so I hate ice fishing, and I'm so in. I am, dude. I would love to, like, I like doing the adventure part of it and going to new places. I like going to the UP and doing it. I like even going up to Saginaw Bay. I got to jump in Louis' truck and go to Simcoe.
Yeah.
This year's insane. But, dude, North Dakota, like, would we fish North Dakota, Minnesota? Both?
Yeah.
Well, which one would we fish? Where? North Dakota?
Oh, I mean, I would
Both?
say not North Dakota. Definitely Minnesota.
I'm seriously in. I'm gonna take you up on that.
Yeah,
I don't know when.
We could go
February,
to like
March.
Red Lake, smash the walleye. I mean, that would be. I'd suggest coming early season for that, but
okay.
I mean,
what is early season to you guys? So like, here, honest to God, man, we haven't even had an ice fishing season. Has it been that bad for you guys over there? We haven't had a season the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's crazy because, I mean, we have one every year. I mean, early ice for us will be like probably early to mid-November.
Whoa. I could do that, dude. That even works. That's better than doing late in the year.
It's hard to tell. I mean, obviously every year is different, but I mean,
right.
Most of the time we're normally walking on the ice sometime in November.
Dude, so. That's crazy because like the last 2 years it's been like in the 50s here in November.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think of what it was last year. It might have been later last year, like December, early December, but it's definitely it's always before the new year for sure.
We get skim ice in like the middle of December if we're lucky.
That's crazy.
The way it's been the last couple of years, we just keep having first ice. Like we'll have a layer freeze over where you can walk on and fish it, and then it'll either get blown offshore or it'll just melt. And then it'll freeze up again and guys get back out again. The fish is really good and then it's nuts. And then we'll get like a 2-week season in February and then like in March. We haven't put the boat away in 2 years. We fished every single month. Me and Louie were getting into Atlantics in February last year.
That is wild.
I went to Simcoe in February and there was like 2 feet of ice, came back, hopped on the boat with our buddy Joe, and caught a limit of walleye trolling the very next day.
That's insane.
I know, it's been super strange around here, but that's why it's so weird for us, like especially as a bait and tackle shop. Like it just doesn't make any sense to sell ice tackle. Like we're not close enough to the lake to do it, and we haven't even gotten any seasons. I mean, I've still got some St. Croix rods in the garage that we didn't even move last year because there just wasn't ice. Who the hell is going to buy a 36-inch rod if there's no ice?
Yeah, exactly. But honestly, dude, I'll take open water fishing over ice fishing any day.
What's your preference? Like if you could go out open water fish and do whatever you wanted, what would you spend the day doing?
As far as like species and the way I'd fish for them?
Yeah, like so like for example, personally, I'd just want to be out on the river vertical jigging walleyes and using like live scope and stuff like that, like in my boat. But you do a lot of kayak fish, like you do a lot of different types of fishing. So would you rather be bass fishing, lake trout fishing, kayak, boat?
I'd say
what are you doing?
Smallmouth fishing, jerk baiting them. It's hard to beat.
Speaking Louie's language. Yeah. Speaking Louie's language.
Oh yeah.
I'm not catching 6-7 pounders like Louie does though.
Yeah. I get lucky every once in a while.
Try to get lucky once a year because we're not good, so we just try and get lucky once a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Louie, what would yours be? You just had a day to spend out on the wall. What would yours be?
I would probably grab a topwater and go straight to the river.
Really? I thought you'd be going offshore. I thought you'd be going into Lake Huron.
No.
After what's happened this summer.
Nothing will beat a big smallmouth topwater bite.
Dude, I wish the wind would chill out. Dude, it's been blowing 10 to 15 miles an hour out of the east and then switching between north and south for like the last 6 days over here.
That's brutal.
And if anyone can explain to me in the comments why fish bite least in the east, that'd be super sick. I don't know if it's like pressure or if it's just something people say. You've heard that saying, Benny?
They bite least in the east?
You've never heard that?
No, I've never heard that.
Maybe it's... Louie, is this just an over here thing?
I don't know, but...
Maybe I'm just looking stupid to everybody from out of the area.
I mean, I'm sure it's been said a lot around here, but I've never heard it.
Dude, it's such a thing.
East is the least.
Yeah, it's such a thing. Like, there's a couple guys that are just like they're like your fair weather fishermen. They like to go out a couple days a week, whenever, and they're like, if it's an east wind, I ain't going.
No, dude, and it's true.
I don't know, dude. I feel like we're gonna have to film a series on this. Every day there's an east wind, we'll keep a tally for a year.
Yeah. Just go out fishing and see what it's like.
I won't fish in an east wind if I have the choice.
Dude, I don't know. It's just a weird thing, but it's been blown. I mean, it's not even worth getting out because it's just been like on the river. It's just been brutal, and the current's going like 4 miles an hour, 5 miles an hour.
Is it windy?
But dude, I would like to get on a topwater bite. Huh?
Is it windy over there
No, I'm
today?
fishing today after work.
Really? You're not gonna watch the
You want to
Lions?
fish? Lions are at 8:15. They're gonna smash the Packers. You heard it here first.
Yes. Hey,
you know what's gonna be hilarious?
What are our predictions on that game? What's the score predictions?
To be honest with you, listen, this is gonna come out like a week after that game, so
I'm going 28-17. Lions win.
I think it's gonna be like, dude, I really think it's gonna be 28-10, and here's the reason why. I think Jordan Love is good.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's faced like a really good defense yet. And the Lions, our pass rush really started clicking. This just turned into a football podcast.
Hutchinson is scary, bro.
He is, man. But like that whole interior line is picking it up. And like, dude, Frank and those guys on the line, those guys are dogs. They got two injuries. And they're just running over people. They're just next man up. Oh, that guy got hurt. Next man up. So like the injuries need to chill. But the Packers are beat up. The only thing I'm worried about is like the Packers' luck. Like Jordan Love's probably going to be a Hall of Famer, and this might be like his coming out game where he just dices up the boys, and it's like, oh shit, here we go again.
It's in Green Bay as well. So.
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest with you, dude. Lions have won the last 3 matchups. I'm super confident. This is coming out after the show, but forget it, dude. 28-10. We're going to restore the roar.
Yeah, baby.
35-17.
Holy shit. Joe's going to be disgusted at this.
He's really going for it.
Our buddy Joe's a huge Packers fan, part owner.
Are you serious?
I know.
Oh, so he's one of those guys that's like, I'm a part owner.
He tells the team what to do.
Yeah.
He's like, trade Aaron Rodgers. He said trade Aaron Rodgers, promote Jordan Love, get us some draft capital. That's Joe making the calls while he's out there catching 6-pound smallies.
Oh, yeah. That's him. No,
but he really can. On a real note, he could get a Super Bowl ring if they win one, and that'd be nuts. It'd probably be way too expensive, but it would be nuts to have a Super Bowl ring. Let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
Dude, so what's next? Like, are you going to continue? Do you want to continue to do this? Because you've seen a lot of different avenues in this industry that's totally, like, me and Louie do the guiding and the retail stuff, and you're on the side that, like, us retailers, not, like, obviously retailers don't directly deal with Yamaha type deal, but you get what I'm saying. Like, what, do you want to stay on that side of it, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can, obviously. Like, I love this. I love the people that I work for. Like, dude, I work with some of the best humans you'll ever meet. Like, I work for such a great company. And so
those dudes were awesome.
Yeah, they're great. And so, like, I would love to stay here, work for Dynamic as long as I can. Obviously, like, at some point it's going to come to an end because of, like, the travels and being away from Brindley and stuff for so long. It's like I can't just do that for another 10 years. So I mean,
what does she do for work?
She's a speech pathologist.
Oh, so it'd be tough to, dude. That's sick.
Which, I mean, like, she could always, like, move, or we could always move, and she could find a job somewhere else. But
is that? I mean, that's a legitimate lifestyle that, like, you've got to get used to. And, like, doing this for as long as I've done it, like, I wouldn't be able to do it. I like having a home base and, like, a place to go. And I just actually got done talking to a buddy that it's what they do is they travel. And he was like, you never make a home. He's like, if you don't have a home base, you have nothing to miss. It was like that type of a deal. And I was like, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But, like, I like having the home base. I mean, I got my dog here. Sure. You know what I mean? Now with Hook One, I really can't go anywhere. But, like, that's a lifestyle I don't know if I'd be able to do.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, there's nothing more I miss than being at home, like, when I'm on the road, obviously. But it's like...
But then, when you get home, do you wish it's like, all right, it's time to get back going, too? Because that's kind of your personality. You don't sit much, it doesn't seem like.
No, I don't. And, like, I'll be at home, like, I'm home here for 6 days, and then I'm back on the road until, like, late October. But it's like, I'm here, and it's like, I think it's been, 3 days since I've been home, and I'm like, okay, now what? Like,
I know. And it's no work when you're at home? You get to enjoy your days?
No work for the most part. Like, I do some social stuff for 13, but I mean, other than that,
you're still working with 13?
Yeah.
Dude, that's pretty fun. They're coming out with a lot of stuff, dude. The industry's just nuts. The industry, me and Louie, we did that a few weeks ago on where it's going with tackle and everything, dude. I don't know how everyone's keeping up.
Oh, it's crazy. Every single year.
How do you guys keep up?
What's that?
I mean, you guys are literally following the Elite Series. It's different every single event. There's something different, and now you've got the Japanese guys bringing baits over that don't even exist over here. It's like, and I'm
guys
sure
are insane, dude. Those guys know how to catch them.
They're just so finesse, dude. They're very dialed into making fish bite that don't want to bite,
and they're good with live scope.
Yeah, where do you think that's headed?
Dude, honestly, I don't know. Like, if like my point of view, I'd say just let them fish it. I mean, if you don't like it, I mean, you better start to like it, because I don't think it's gonna go away.
Dude, it's like in basketball when they made the 3-point line. I'm sure there were guys that like, oh, they shouldn't be shooting from that far away and get an extra point. It's like, we'll get back. Like, we got to evolve. We have to evolve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you think there's a point where it's too much? Like where technology becomes too much, and it's because like when we were talking to Andrew when we were over there in Minnesota, and we were talking to Andrew about fishing over there in Mille Lacs, and he was saying how there's a really strict limit over there because it's an inland lake, and in like certain times of the year there's only one spot for walleye to go. So like once you figure that out, and then you get electronics that are that good, like do you see that happening else? The Great Lakes, it's tough. But, I mean, still, a lot of these fish are local fish, you know?
Yeah. Dude, I don't know, man. It's tricky. I mean, it's such a hot topic right now, and, like, obviously a lot of people are bent out of shape about it, so.
Yeah, and you see, like, Apple is coming out with, like, the Oculus, right, that they put on the head, and it kind of flopped right away with you. Dude, there's going to be a time where you're going to be able to put on a pair of glasses or something, and Live Scope's going to be here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, that's kind of freaky. Yeah. That kind of freaks me out.
At that point, like, it's like that's kind of like a safety thing, where like that would, I would think, would never be allowed. But
you'd think, but at the same time, I mean, these guys are staring down at their screen, and if they've got AirPods or something in, like, they have no idea either if anything's going on around them. And especially guys that have 3 or 4 screens, or they go and get those third-party 21 to 30. Like, there's a 21-inch screen on someone's boat.
Yeah.
The hell is that?
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, like, but like, yeah, if it was up to me, I'd say like, hey, keep it. Like, if you're not great at it, try to get better at it. I don't know.
What do you think, Louie?
I don't think it's going anywhere, honestly. I don't think there's a reason for it to go anywhere.
It's too much money, man.
Oh yeah.
There's too much money. Anything that there's money in, that's a different conversation. Anything there's money in, it'll never go away. Yeah. Guys are paying $4,000 to put this stuff on their boat. Like there's guys up here that are putting the 62s, just like the saltwater transducers that are meant to see 200 feet deep. They're putting them on in Lake St. Clair. I don't know. Wow. And I wonder if it changes fishing. Because fish are, like, they already say that fish can feel that and sense that. And they do say, it's interesting because they say it gets the bait fish riled up. Like, I've read articles that, like, it gets the bait fish riled up. So it should get the big fish riled up. But I got a feeling like if you pull into a spot where there's like a 6-7 pound smallie, say, or a 32-inch walleye that's been around for a long time, that thing's going to know when the trolling motor gets in the water and it starts feeling that. Like, it's going to know. That's just my personal belief. Maybe not. Yeah. Maybe I'm looking too far into it.
And also, like, I know people like complain about live scope and stuff, like, but you also have to catch the fish. Like, they're not always going to want to bite.
Dude, I'm glad someone else said it, and it's not just me and Louie saying that.
Even on Lake St. Clair, like, watching the elites, they were pitching at fish, and if they wouldn't bite within the first 4 or 5 seconds, it was reel up, go to the next one. Yeah. Reel up, go to the next one.
Dude, like, even out on... Sorry, Louie, what were you going to say?
They were casting at, like, 150 fish a day and catching, like, 20 if they were lucky.
Yeah. That's same with the St. Lawrence River. Like, they were on schools of 40 fish, and, like, sometimes they wouldn't even get them to bite. And so, I mean, you can see them, you can play your video game with them, but you're not always going to catch them.
Dude, I'm telling you, and like that, I blame 100%. I blame like those expectations on social media. Like, I was just talking to somebody about that. Like, social media needs to almost chill out in the sense like we need to stop making it look like fishing is always like a beautiful day and a pound fest. You know what I mean? And that's the whole reason we started this. It's the reason that our podcasts are unedited for the most part. It's a reason that our YouTube is going to be just super goofy, but it's not going to be like, there's times where you can run like a short film or run like a good production and make it look really good. But it's like, dude, there's so many hours on there of guys just like pounding fish. And then like people come out, like from a guide's perspective, it's frustrating because people come out and they're like, oh, we're going to go and catch our limit today or catch, a whole bunch of fish. I've been seeing that going on. And it's like, yeah, we're probably going to do that. But if it doesn't happen, that's fishing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's important to see that fishing's fishing, that a lot of times these TV productions or these productions that you see take days to make. And like Louis said, you could be on a school of 150 fish and you might make 20 bite, or you might get on a school of 150 fish and 145 of them might bite.
Yeah.
But you got to catch them.
For sure.
It makes walleye fishing. Go ahead, Louis.
Live scope's more frustrating than anything once you actually dial it in and learn it, because you do not realize how many fish are down there just laughing at you.
Dude, Allie's going to love that you said that. You know how she is on the boat. Have you? Oh, Benny, you fished with her too.
Yeah.
Dude, Allie, for the viewers and listeners out there, my wife, Allie, she'll only fish from the back of the boat. She refuses to look at live scope. She says it's bullshit that there's that many fish down there that won't bite.
I mean, she caught a fish when we were out there, so.
She's a catcher, not a fisher.
Yep.
Well, that's, you see why. Because every freaking time we went out there, she's the only one that got one.
Yep.
We only had like an hour. We're like, all right, dude, let's send it out. We're going to go hit 2 spots. We'll let it rip. Try and get you on a smallie. Allie's catching them. It's like, dude.
Dude, that's the same thing with like ice fishing and stuff. Like, you could point your live scope one way and see a huge school of bluegills or crappies or whatever. And you could get over there and like, they're not always going to bite.
You could drill the hole.
Yeah. And then
put your live scope down.
Away.
I was gonna say, put your live scope down, and now they're over there.
Oh, they're gone. Yeah.
that would be a funny game to be playing.
Oh,
you have to drill a bunch of holes.
It's wild when you take it over to Simcoe and whitefish with it, because you'll just see schools of like 20, 25, and they're just doing circles around you, just looking at your baits, and you're like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah, whitefish are goofy.
Wild.
But we even have that like in the river. Louis, would you agree in the river it always makes it wild too? Because like there'll be a day where it's tough fishing and you're like, you think you're on this school of walleye and you keep watching these fish come up, look at your bait and swim down, and it's like, maybe it's not a walleye. And like most of the time they're like frickin' red horse suckers or drums. But it's sometimes you'll waste your time sitting on a school. What's that?
I thought I was on the biggest school of walleye in 8 feet of water in the mud, and I was on a epic sucker bite.
Yeah. Yeah, usually I bring a sucker upside down by its butthole, and I'm like, all right, there's no walleye in here.
Every time.
It's ridiculous. All right, man. Well, Benny, do you have anything else that you'd want to show? Or that you want to talk about? I think I hit everything that I wanted to talk about. Honestly, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here.
Absolutely. I think the only thing that I wanted to ask you about was the Frank Ragnow Foundation deal, because I thought that was super cool.
It's been really cool, man. And this year, you know what? That's a good idea. I'm going to put that down below in the comments as well. Guys, if you want to support Frank's foundation, there's going to be a link down below. He's actually got a big dinner coming up. It's at Ford Field. You'll probably look at it and think the tickets are crazy expensive, because I mean they are. It's $400 to go there, but it's all your food's included. There's drinks there. You get a football. There's going to be a bunch of players there at the event. It's super sick. Me and Louie are hoping to be there again because we donated a bunch of stuff and we want to keep continuing to give back to that foundation. So check that stuff out, Benny. I appreciate you bringing that up, dude. It's super cool, and hopefully we'll get you mixed in here soon, because the whole plan is to keep growing it. You know what I mean? And Frank is so busy doing what he does. Like I'm now like talking directly with the people at the foundation, like, hey, let me help you, because we're not even gonna I know Frank good enough. I've got his number. If I have a question, I can text him, but don't even bother him, because I'm sure when he's done playing at some point, I mean, dude, the guy's beat up.
Yeah.
It's a brutal profession that he's in. So
and he's a
when
dad now too. So.
What's that?
And he's a dad
Dude,
now
JB is a ham.
too.
He is a cutie. But Louis got to see him too. He's gonna be bullying some kids on the gridiron when he's older, dude. He's a brute.
He's a big boy.
Well, we're hoping to grow the entire organization, and I know, like I said, when Frank's done in the league, his family's all still back over there in Minnesota, so I know he'll be taking it back over there and doing things with those kids. So that's going to be a really positive experience for him.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, hey, I can't thank you enough. I know you're super busy. You're only home for 6 days, and you allowed us to take, just over an hour of your time here. And I really appreciate your insight on the different side of the industry, because that's the one thing I want to give my viewers is I want to be able to talk to as many people as possible to get to see the whole outdoor industry. It's like I'm tired of talking about fishing and the techniques and stuff like that. Like, we'll still do that stuff, and that's what our YouTube will be beneficial for. But it's really cool that you got to come on here and talk a little bit about, the backside of running that Bassmobile, because I'm sure we've had viewers and listeners that have seen it, and they're like, oh my God, like, that's the guy. Like, he was the one driving that bus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if they've been at Bassmaster events, they've seen that trailer. Like, the Lake St. Clair turnout was huge.
Yeah.
They see that Yamaha trailer, you see the big flags, you see those big motors on stands. That's you. And it's guys just like you that love being in the industry. So it's cool to give people an insight to that.
Absolutely. We better see you guys at the Classic next year, too.
Dude, Tulsa, Oklahoma, right where all the water is.
That's right. That's right, where we're based out of, too.
It'll be nice for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
For you guys specifically. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, though, because, you have so many people, even myself included, when I used to go to those Bassmaster events, I'd almost be intimidated sometimes by the trailer. Like, oh, these guys are this is what they do for a living, and they're so professional. And then it's like, they're just dudes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? The event closes down, and we go do our thing, or when the Bass, I'm sure there's some stories from the Bassmobile when those events would close down and you guys would have some free time. But it's like, for our listeners and our viewers out there, don't be shy, man. You got questions to ask about the industry. You've got questions to ask about, if you're at these events, the motors or anyone, not if it's just Benny and Yamaha, but anyone like that. Go talk to them. They're just dudes. We're in this industry because we love it.
100%, yes. Yeah.
Louis. What do you got for the people?
Just like, share, and subscribe.
There it is, Benny. You got to hear it live.
Yeah, baby.
Guys, please like, share, and subscribe. We can't thank you guys enough for everything that you've done for us and our channel. We want to continue to grow. Please subscribe to the channel. It's free. Louis, it's free, right?
It is free.
Benny, is this still free to subscribe to a YouTube channel?
Yeah. Yep.
Sick. Guys, it's free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. So hit that link below. Check it out. We got more coming from you. Benny, thank you again. And guys, we'll talk to you on next week's episode of the Hook One Pod. Adios.